welcome to another edition of Cadence Fishing TV. Today we're here on the Woodland Lakes near Thirsk, and I've been issued with a Chappy challenge. It's to catch 15 pound on a freezing cold day. That's why I've got my flask out early, which you don't see very often. But I'm up for it, and he's got a smile on his face because he doesn't think I can do it, but we shall see. Cheers, and we'll get on with it. Right, we're here at Kestrel. We're on Kestrel Lake on the complex, which is one of the match lakes which pretty much guarantees you a bite in any type of weather, really, and that's why we've picked this one. I've had a good plumb round and found just a tiny little dip in the bottom. It's about 3 inches deeper where I am now at the two areas I've plumbed. I've got one line at 11 metres and I've got another line at 13 metres, and it is just slightly deeper than the rest, pretty much rest of the lake really, and I'm hoping because of that later on, as it warms up slightly, we might catch a skimmer or two. But really we're just targeting anything that swims really. And I bumped that one off. And the target species on here in the matches are roach and skimmers. So we'll probably set off catching a few roach if we're lucky, and follow that up with skimmers later on. So we'll see how it goes. Chappy has set me this challenge today, 15 pounds. And although it's really cold and it's flat calm, which is very difficult conditions really, I do feel is giving me a chance, because 15 to 20 pound will normally get you in the frame on one of the matches here on conditions like this. So today, with me having the lake pretty much to myself, there is a couple of anglers about, I think he's giving me a reasonable chance. And he's probably feeling a bit sorry for me after I lost my pound to James on the last venture out. We shall see what it brings today. The way I expect today to go is pretty much like it does in a match situation, whereas it usually takes probably an hour and a half to start to get the fish feeding properly, but small roach are always reliable, and I've got a small roach on now. So we set off fishing light. I'm fishing a single maggot, just to build the confidence up really, and we catch small roach like that one, and it does show that something's willing to take the bait, and you can't beat getting a few bites early on. Builds your confidence up, and then you can start building the swim up. I've only fed one very small nugget of ground bait on both lines. I've fed pinkies on my short line and a few dead maggots on my longer line, mixed with probably only half a dozen micros, because I'm hoping that later on we'll be able to fish a soft pellet and catch the better skimmers if they turn up. But at the moment it's going pretty much as it would in a match situation. Well, as we said earlier, we put small nugget of ground bait in, and my thoughts on that was fish aren't going to be very active at the moment, so I'm going to rule out loose feeding with a catapult. That's something we normally do when the temperatures are a bit higher, when the fish are moving about. In my opinion, I can see pretty much that the fish are just going to be sat around the feed area, hopefully, and with me putting that nugget of ground bait in, they will eventually get the heads down and have a go. I've put a small kinder pot on the top of the pole now, and I'm just putting 2 or 3 pinkies in the bottom of that, a little bit of loose ground bait on the top, and tipping that in, and I'm hoping those fish that are sat about will maybe follow that down. And I've got a bite now. They'll maybe follow that down to where the ground bait is, and once they start feeding on that, then that's when we'll start getting a few proper bites. Another really small roach, but I'm not put off by that, because I know that eventually, or I hope eventually, some better fish will move in. Fingers are really cold, and the lake is still icing up. We've got more ice on now than when I started, so I'm hoping that it doesn't freeze up completely. Right, here we go. Once I start catching better stamped fish, then the feeding will change slightly. We'll be a bit more positive then. But for the moment, we're just fishing for bites. You might notice that I've got quite a lot of float bristles sticking out. And one of the reasons for that is, when it's cold like this, bites are really delicate. And so with that bristle sticking out, I can see pretty much every little bite. If I had it dotted down just a pimple, the float would pretty much just disappear at the slightest touch. But I can read the bites a lot better with the bristle sticking out like it is, because the skimmers especially, and these small roach, just pick the bait up and move slightly, and you see the bristle will just tip to a side or something like that, and then you can read what is happening, and then you'll either leave it to bury, or when it does start to move away, you can see that, and you can strike, and there'll be a fish on. Oh, that's the theory anyway. Although it's very early in the session, I'm still looking to get bites as quickly as I can, so as I'll do even as the day progresses really, we'll keep moving the float about. I'll lift it slightly, move it to the side, anything just to catch the fish's attention, and maybe he'll grab the bait. So just lift slightly, like that, lower it down, nothing too sudden, and that could induce a bite pretty often. Although it's not doing it at the moment, but that's to be expected, and until a few fish show up. But quite often you can lift it, and as you lower it down, the float will go. So it does work. Ooh. And here we are, we've got a fish. And that was just after I moved the bait. I just lifted it, lowered it, pretty much as I said earlier, the float went. See what we've got, a little roach. Right, we just had another bite there, and I got another one straight away as soon as I tipped that ground bait in. So that stopped me in my tracks. But the way I see it happening at the moment is I'm trip feeding a few pinkies, an odd maggot, and a little bit of the loose ground bait. And I'm not sure whether there's a lot of fish there or what's really there at the moment. But what I do know is there's plenty of small roach. And as we know, as long as I can get them feeding, and it stands a chance of drawing the better fish in once they're active and feeding. This is the way I see it anyway. So it's all encouraging. I don't think we're blessed with a lot of fish in the peg yet, but with each bite and each fish, should I say, it's encouraging, and I am putting a little pot of bait in after every fish at the moment. So obviously, the more bites I get, the more fish I get, the more bait goes in, and that's how we build our swims up. Getting a lot of ice forming around the place now. So we might be battling that, but I'm hoping that clears up as the day warms up. It is forecast to warm up slightly. Chappy, are you sure it was £15? It wasn't 15 ounces, was it? Because I'm struggling at the moment. We should have made this into a whip video with these small fish. You don't normally catch them this small. So I don't know what to make of it so far, but a bite's a bite. first put in on my longer line. And we've got a skimmer. Oop, get him out. That's what we're coming for. Double pinky, that one. That was my first put in on my longer line. It's been flat calm all morning. I've had a little area in between the ice where I've been able to fish. I've just got that skimmer, and you turn around, put some bait on, turn around and look to go out again. Breeze has picked up and now the whole sheet of ice is blowing down this end. So I think it's time to join the birds in the feast. I'm going to get some pack up, have a cup of coffee and have a bit of a break and see what happens. I've been up for a walk up to the top of the pond, or the lake should I say. We've turned the aerators on, the spinners if you like. I'm hoping that that'll push the ice away for us so we can have another opportunity to fish, because I just can't fish at the moment. It's gone solid and the ice is getting thicker. So we'll have a look at the rigs I've been using. The floats that I like to use on here, because the light is really bad with the trees at the far bank. The light changes often through the day. So I like to use these Tough Eye floats, and they come with 3 different tops, a red and a yellow one and a black one, so they very quickly can be interchangeable. So that's one of the reasons I use this float, and the one I'm using today is 4x14, which is quite heavy really for the depth we're fishing, which is only 3.5 foot. But I've got 2 of them set up today, and this is the first one, which is a strung out shot. I've got a number 8 just under the float, and then I've got 3 number 9s, 4 number 9 should I say, running down to a 6-inch hook length, and on the end of that I've got a size 20 B911 F1 hook, and that's attached to 08 hook line. The main line that I use is 014, and the reason I use 014 is if we get some bigger fish in, then I've got the option of upping my hook length, and I can handle them, because obviously we catch the odd carp in here being a commercial, so that's one thing to be wary of. The elastic I'm using on this rig is a 2 to 4 elastic, quite soft, because as you've seen when we started, we're just catching really small fish to start with. When the skimmers do get bigger, then we'll up the rig, and I'll show you that in a minute. On top of this rig, at the end of my pole, I've got a kinder pot. It's the original cupping kit, if you like, from years ago. I still use them, and as you saw earlier, this is what I use just to drip feed. And what I do with that, we just put 3 or 4 pinkies in like that, and then just cap it up with a little bit of dark ground bait that I'm using, and that's just to hold the pinkies in while I ship out, stop some falling out, and then obviously we just pour it in, and that's how we drip feed on our starting line. The other rig will come into play, or I hope it comes into play a little bit later on. And this is it's a Tough Eye 4x14 again, and I've got this one set up with a double bulk, and it's on stots rather than shot, this, so I can move the shot about to suit the conditions and to suit my bites that I'm going to get, hopefully. So halfway down I've got 3 number 8 stots, and then running down just above my hook length I've got 2 number 11s, and I like to use this rig when we're starting to catch a few skimmers, because I can detect lift bites, and should I drop deep in the rig, so we're fishing with the hook length on the bottom, then those lift bites really show up well using that rig. This one is attached again to an 08 hook length to a B911 size 18 hook, a little bit bigger, and the elastic I'm using on this is a 4 to 6 elastic this time, just a little bit stronger, and it gives me the opportunity just to move those skimmers away from the shoal when I hook them, so they're not hanging about and spooking the rest of the shoal. And that basically is the 2 rigs that I'm using today. After a lot of messing about, I must have had an hour and a half trying to clear ice. I've never felt so happy for a nice little skimmer. I'm not going to do the 15 pound, that's for certain now. Chappy's got a big smile on, thinking he's going to get his pound. and I'm getting poorer, but I'm happy, I tell you. I've had to work so hard for that one. With the icebreaker. Ooh. And I've got to say, the Cadence 2000, Paul, really nice to hold. I've had it out at 13 and 14 metres. It's really nice and light and stiff, and with the match kit in, I have no fear of, hang on, I might be getting a bite there, I have no fear of a bumping fish, you know, when the elastic isn't up to the task. And another thing it's handy for, which you might have seen today, if Chappy's got some footage of it, clearing the ice. I can't believe the strength of it. I've been pushing big sheets of ice away from me, and it just shows how strong this pole really is. I'm using it today at, I'm fishing at 11 metres now, really, just because I couldn't get out any further with the ice. I've put the mini section in the back just when I was pushing the ice over, and that really helps. It's really strong on that. So I'm now fishing with it. Where you put your elbow at the back, you can strike into fish with confidence that you're not going to crack the end of your pole and damage your joints. First put in after breaking the ice, I had a small roach, which was encouraging, and then since then, within sort of 10 minutes, I've had 2 skimmers. So it just goes to show that the disturbance through breaking the ice has not affected the fishing. In fact, in my case, it's improved it. So it's something you don't need to be shy of. I'm going on to the pellet. I'm going to give that a try. It's my only hope of getting a decent fish, really. Just to see if I can stand up to Chappy's challenge. Let's see what it brings. Right, I've decided now that because it's getting late in the day, and although it's starting to warm up, it looks like snow might be on its way, that I put a few micros in, not too many, in amongst my ground bait, and I'm fishing with pellet on the hook now. So it's a case of do or die with this. I'm hoping maybe just to get a couple of decent fish. Oh, and there we go. It's made no difference, I've got a little one. But I'm hoping to get a couple of decent fish for the camera for you on the pellet. And that's got to be the smallest skimmer in here. But at least I take the pellet, so I'm going to stick with that and hope some better ones turn up. When I'm fishing the pellet, I tend to present that slightly different to what I do with the maggot, whereas as I ship out and when I'm ready over my baited area, I swing it out and I just let the bottom shot touch the water, and then I slowly lower it down. I don't like to lay it in the water like I do with a maggot. I just like to ease it down, lowering it in, and sometimes that can get you an instant bite. Not working at the moment, but this time yet we've probably got maybe an hour, if we're lucky, left in the day. And hopefully you can see that working. Right, and we've got one on. It's a better fish. I don't know whether it's a skimmer or a roach yet. We'll find out in a minute. Just another small skimmer. I'm not going to swing it in, we'll net them. Every fish counts, so we'll make sure we get it in the net. And there you go. Getting a little bit bigger. I've now altered the depth slightly, so we're fishing, as I said earlier in the video, we're fishing 6 inches over depth now, and that's going to give me a better chance of catching a decent skimmer, I think. And we're getting into the 90th minute now, in football terms, and I'm just wondering if, like my team, Liverpool, we can just snatch that last minute goal. In off the crossbar will do nicely, I don't care, as long as we get a couple. And that'll be victory from the jaws of defeat. Woohoo! Get on, son. Maybe, just maybe. Come on, Mo. These fish are at premium today, so I've got to be really gentle playing them. So I'm using that nice soft elastic, 2 to 4, and just gently ease the pole back. They're not big fish, but you don't want to be losing them. You're fishing a barbless hook, obviously, being in a commercial. That line's just wrapped round that, so that makes it easier, to be fair. So when you're playing them, just ease the pole back nice and gently. No jerky movements, otherwise you'll bump them off. And that's another one. The ice is about gone, but if you could see the grimace on Chappy's face, the rain has started. Really doing favours for his filming. One of those days. It's not over yet. I might just manage it. We shall see. Just lower it back down. Only a small one. Still gonna net it. If I'm gonna do that weight, I'm gonna need bigger ones than that. Chappy's call time. I've just got one. It maybe could have been £5 and I might have just got there, but it's turned out not too bad today anyway. I thought we was going to get a blankety blank checkbook and pen today, but we've managed a few. And we'll see if I've met the challenge. Well, there you go, Chappy. What do you reckon?
Not sure, Paul. I think you might be just a little bit off the mark.
I think I've got double figures anyway, which
Right, let's have a see.
Which is a good result, I think, today. Got my scales. Let's have a look. The moment of truth. Are you ready for this?
Go on.
Here we go. Oh my goodness. Looks like
just shy. Mate, I feel sorry for you.
Looks like the pound yours is yours, mate.
Don't worry about that. You've been an absolute trooper today, pal. Well done.
13.8.
You've battled ice and snow and everything. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Cheers, pal. Cheers. Well, this one's been a right chappy challenge. It's been a calamitous day weather-wise with the ice. We've ended up with snow, we've had sun, we've had everything you could think of. But I've still enjoyed it. We've had a few fish, and thanks for watching.